How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and Auto Camp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Hello and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We are so excited to bring you this show.
Our podcast is all about unraveling all of your favorite mysteries from the Assassin's Creed games. Each episode will be talking about a different topic in the Assassin's Creed universe. From Pieces of Eden, solar flares, and the Isu, to the Hidden Ones, the Order of Ancients, and of course, the Animus, we will seek to uncover it all.
So join us and maybe even take a leap of faith.
Hello and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. My name is Shelby. You probably also know me as She-Cup, and we are back. We are here with another episode full of lore. But before we get into our topic today, I'm here with my co-host, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey, I'm Austin, also known as Teacup, and I just want to say that I gave an exquisite introduction for Shelby on this week's episode of the Dragon Age Lorecast, and I did not get that in return. So now I'm a little salty.
Okay. I mean, you can stay salty. That's fine with me.
All right. Anyway, we're here for another character deep dive. And so we are here for this character deep dive on the great painter himself, best friend to Ezio Auditore da Firenze, and that is none other than Leonardo da Vinci. I'm not going to get into a lot of comparisons with the actual historical Leonardo da Vinci, because we would be here all day if I wanted to talk about that. There are books, there is lots of information out there. I will bring in a couple things from his actual historical person, but I'm mainly focusing on his involvement in the Assassin's Creed franchise. After all, this is the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. So that is what I want to focus on. Leonardo was born a bastard in 1452 to a Florentine noble named Piero. To avoid scandal, he grew up in Tuscany so that his father wouldn't be like, hey, here's your bastard running around. At 14, he returns to Florence after being noted for his artistic skills. So he's a good painter. He gets noticed, and he goes and is an apprentice to an artist in the city of Florence. 6 years later, when he's 20, he becomes a master in the Guild of St. Luke, which is a local guild for painters and other artists in the time. It is during this time that he meets none other than Maria Alditori, who is actually the purchaser of most of Leonardo's paintings. Now, this is probably historical license of, I don't know if the Alditori family was even real. Odds are someone bought his paintings when he was young. Whether it was all one person or a bunch of people, we don't know. So we see Leonardo in some comics, but mainly he is in two games, which is Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So that's where I'm going to focus on this for today. And so we first meet Leonardo when Ezio accompanies Maria to pick up some paintings for him. And this is where a friendship begins between Leonardo and young Ezio. And so this is just very casual until after the parents of Ezio are killed. He goes to the brothel where the leader of the brothel instructs him to go to Leonardo da Vinci to fix the hidden blade. And this is where Leonardo does repair the Alditori hidden blade with help of the codex. And then throughout the game, you can take other codex to him where he continues to enhance the hidden blade with various things like the poison blade all the way up to the hidden gun. And so throughout the game, Leonardo also translates many codex pages from Altair's codex, as well as deciphering various works of the Apple of Eden. And lastly, in Assassin's Creed 2, we do fly a prototype of Leonardo's flying machine that Ezio will use in Venice. This is one of the most dreaded missions of the entire game, in my opinion. And I have written in the show notes, in all caps, shoot the flying demon. If you know, you know.
I feel like our listeners, even if you haven't played Assassin's Creed 2, should be really familiar with this because we do have shoot the flying demon as a sound. I can't remember if it's before our mid-break or after our mid-break, but in the mid-break sounds, we play that every week. So, you should know it. But also, I completely agree. The mission is stupid hard and also annoying to have to listen to that over and over and over again, which is why I think it's so iconic.
Yes, and that the controls of the flying machine are just very clunky.
Well, I mean, it is an old game. It's to be expected.
Yes, that is very true. So that's really about Assassin's Creed 2. Is there anything about Assassin's Creed 2 or Leonardo that you particularly want to mention? I do have one more thing I want to mention, but I wanted to give you time.
I think the only thing I want to talk about, and I can't remember if this comes in 2 or in Brotherhood, but when you have to do all of his missions and you find him on the different benches and basically just have to follow him around the city, I just feel like that quest is so endearing. And makes me like him a lot because it's very much painting the picture of poor little artist guy gets so focused on his work and loses complete track of time that he has to have an entourage of people following him around, making sure he doesn't get lost.
Yes, that is Brotherhood, where you find him on the benches. But I agree with you. Those are very iconic moments. The last thing is one of my favorite moments with Leonardo, which happens in Assassin's Creed 2. When you're playing the game and you have one of your interactions, Leonardo will indicate that he wants a hug, and you will get a prompt to interact. And you can choose whether or not to interact with this. If you choose not to, he looks so sad and defeated that his friendship was not returned. That every time I play the game, I have to stop and make sure, oh, yes, I need to make sure to hug Leonardo just so he knows that he's a beloved friend.
Yes, he's my beloved friend. I would never not give him the hug. Do people out there not hug him?
If you're not paying attention, the prompt will go away and you won't hug him.
Oh, that's sad. I don't like thinking
But
about that. Let's move on.
it's it's so funny because he has the motivation where he like opens his arms like this, and then he just goes like, "Oh, okay."
Honestly, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when in Baldur's Gate 3, you tell Will that you don't want to dance with him.
Oh yes, it is very, very, very similar. So with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which Leonardo doesn't take as prominent of a role, except for in DLC, which we will talk about in a little bit. But in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the base game, sometime between Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, Leonardo comes under the employ of the Borgia family. And they use him to study the Apple of Eden and to create various machines that you, through interaction with Leonardo, he gives you the details to go and destroy the plans and destroy those machines. Some of those missions are really fun. Some of those missions are not fun. But there is a couple scenes that happen in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood that I think are worth noting. It is through interaction with Leonardo that you can learn Cesare's backstory about how he killed various generals and assassinated his brother to rise to power. And furthermore, once the Borgia are defeated, Leonardo will make a comment to Ezio that will be like, "Oh, you murdered my patron, and so now I am like out of money." And Ezio will then offer him money that Leonardo will refuse. And Ezio basically just goes, "Take the money on your meager salary. You could really use it." So those are really our interactions with him in game. For such an iconic character, we don't get a lot. But I think what makes Leonardo so endearing in this moment, and we can talk about this later, is that he is present throughout Ezio's journey. One of the things about Ezio is we get to walk with him from his initiation into the Assassin's Creed or the Assassin's Brotherhood all the way to like him becoming this well-respected mentor, and even with Embers to his death. And that's really important. And Leonardo is a big part of that story. And we'll talk about some later things in a moment and after the mid-break. But before that, I just want to start talking about some other things that happen in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So it is through Leonardo in this DLC that the assassins actually become allies with Pope Julius II, which the assassins have only been allies with two popes that I know of, which is this one, Pope Julius II, and then the Pope that eradicates the Knights Templar Order. But this fun fact is so funny. So in one interaction, Ezio will come across this woman named Lisa del Giocondo, which this is really funny, who he will have a sort of fling with. Ezio visits Leonardo and comes in on him painting this woman who he had a fling with a year ago. Leonardo doesn't see that Ezio comes in, but Lisa does, as Leonardo is painting a self-portrait of her. She sees Ezio and offers a slight smile. And Leonardo freaks out and says, "This is it. This is great." And explains the smile for the Mona Lisa. Because Ezio slept with her.
I mean, Ezio basically slept with everyone. So it's not that surprising, nor is it out of character, in my opinion.
No. But I just think that kind of like hilarious historical thing is just so far-fetched of like, oh, let's just explain this like thing that art people have debated for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
So Leonardo later would make, and this is in DLC, would make contact with the cult of Hermes, which is a group that is obsessed with the god Hermes. And it would be through them that he learns of Pythagoras and his connection to pieces of Eden. Now, remember, this was a DLC for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. It has been over 10 years ago that this was released. And so likely 7 or 8 years before Assassin's Creed Odyssey was released. And if you haven't played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, there's a spoiler, but Pythagoras plays an important role in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, as well as he carries the staff of Hermes. And so I think this begs the question that this whole storyline that we experience in Odyssey we get some foreshadowing here in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood DLC of this idea.
Yeah, I definitely think it is foreshadowing. I don't know how much of it is like accidental versus intentional, but to me, I would assume these people, they've got stories thought out, not in depth and not necessarily in detail, but the bare bones of stories thought out years, maybe even a decade in advance. So to me, it's not that far-fetched that this could be intentional. However, at the same time, I recognize that it may absolutely also just may be accidental. So I don't think we'll ever know.
I agree. But I just thought that was very interesting, just given the connection to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And the fact that, as we know, again, a spoiler for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but Cassandra is alive during this period.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So Leonardo's eventually kidnapped by the cult, and Ezio has to go save him and his apprentice and all kinds of stuff like that. But there's some other appearances, and I want to talk about his end of life and then some other things that the game said and its historical accuracy. But first, I think it's time for our mid-break.
All right, well, let's head to the middle of the show.
This episode is brought to you by FX's Alien Earth, the official podcast. Each week, host Adam Rogers is joined by guests, including the show's creator, cast, and crew, in this exclusive companion podcast. They will explore story elements, deep dive into character motivations, and offer an episode-by-episode behind-the-scenes breakdown of each terrifying chapter in this new series. Search FX's Alien Earth wherever you listen to podcasts.
Want to live better? We've got a lot of work to do. Join Chris Hemsworth in National Geographic's new Disney Plus original series, Limitless. Live Better Now. I'm diving headfirst into cutting-edge science to uncover 3 powerful secrets to living better right now. The growth that occurs through any challenging experience is really what we seek. Chris Hemsworth stars in Limitless. Live Better Now. Now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. It's showtime.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Ma cos'è? Shoot! Shoot a flying demon!
I'm sure you can put this to better use than I can.
Oh, what's this, Greenie? Assassin Christmas.
I needs to be oiled before I goes to the games.
Well, I would have been happy to assist if you were in any state to compete.
Aye. Likes to be oiled.
Well, that's obvious.
Hello and welcome to the middle of the show. This is where we talk about all things that have to do with the podcast and not the lore of Assassin's Creed. So the first thing that we always do is thank all of our patrons. Thank you all so much for supporting us, for being our patrons. Without you, we could not keep doing the show. And financially supporting us via Patreon is the number one best way to support us. So sign up if you're interested. There's lots of really awesome benefits that you can get, and all of that information can be found via the link in our bio. And so before we move on from patrons, we do have a few that I need to shout out. And so the first one that I need to shout out is Voss, who is a mentor tier patron and gets shouted out every single week. Thank you so much. And then the second one, I don't remember if we shouted out this new patron last week or not. So I'm just going to shout them out again, just in case. And this newest patron is Black Wolf Raven X. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon and supporting us. We appreciate it so much. And then if you can't support us on Patreon, the next best way to support us is to leave us a rating, a review, a comment, some kind of kind words on the internet for other people to see. And if you do leave us a 5-star rating or kind words, we will read it out on a future episode of the show. And so the one I have to read today comes from someone named Legend Link, who commented on our Ascendance episode and said this: I love AC, and I've been listening to this podcast for a year now. I love everything the cups do. Thank you so much for that awesome review. It really helps us, and we appreciate it so much. And then just the last couple things I have to mention is there are so many different ways that you can get connected with us online, whether that's on Discord, our website, cupspodcasting.com, our merch shop that you can find in the link in our episode description, wherever you can find us. We're there. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to talk to you. So definitely just reach out. And with that, Austin, I think we are ready to get back into the show. So I'm turning it over to you.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Cadillac. Cadillac certified service technicians are factory trained to fit your vehicle with the tires specifically developed for it. And with our tire price match guarantee, you get the best fit for the best deal. Let us do the work. Available on select eligible tire brands at participating dealers only. Offer ends 12/31/2025. Terms apply. See dealer for complete details. Visit Cadillac.com/service to learn more.
Malaka. A party? I wasn't invited. Neither were the horses. I'm sure she just misplaced my invitation. Stuck.
See if you can find something to pry it open. Honor? What are you up to? No, don't do that. There's no way of knowing what's on the other side.
All right, so let's talk about Leonardo's death and his last appearances in the Assassin's Creed universe, which happened in comics. So at Ezio's 46th birthday party, Leonardo is there and present, and Ezio offers him a place in the Assassin, which he declines, stating that that life is not for him. And I think he makes some kind of comment of keeping his throat or staying alive or something like that. In April of 1519, Leonardo was surprised by Ezio, who had come to visit him in France, and snuck into his room. As the two old friends embrace, Ezio would let Leonardo know that Niccolò would be joining them the following day to entertain Leonardo in one of their last interactions. Ezio would recount his meeting and short fling with Lisa del Giocondo and the inspiration for his Mona Lisa in years prior. So Ezio does eventually tell Leonardo that he is the reason for the Mona Lisa smile. And that's really what happens with that. And then they leave and Leonardo dies shortly after. There are some rumors surrounding his death that we'll talk about in a little bit, but that's his journey with the Assassins. He is a lifelong friend of Ezio, who stays one of his confidants. And I am kind of sad that we didn't get to see him or have any kind of mention of him in Assassin's Creed Revelation, but still a great character. And so do you have any thoughts on him before I move on to kind of our conversation topic for the day?
Yeah, I just have one kind of also conversation to bring up. And I just am curious what your thoughts are about him never officially joining the Assassins, because I feel like he has so much insider knowledge he is there for so many assassin gatherings. He, his home is really used as like a headquarters of the assassins in this time period, at least in 2, I think. And so it's really interesting to me that he never officially joins the assassins. He's never officially like made like part of the organization, even if he's not an assassin, like given some special designation or whatever that is totally within Ezio's purview to do. So it's interesting to me that he's never officially part of it and yet knows so much. And so I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
I think it makes sense that there has to be people who of influence who the assassins befriend, who are assassin allies, if not assassins themselves. And I think it's smart to keep it that way. To like, if the assassins were to take a stance of, oh, you have to join us fully if you really want to help us and do what we want to do, kind of defeats their grand ethos of like freedom and free will and choice above everything else. That joining them fully into becoming an assassin has to be a choice someone makes. Which I think I take issue with that of like people being born into the assassins. I think that is a mistake too. And so I think that the fact that he is offered a place but doesn't take it, and Ezio respects that, shows his conviction to the Assassin's Creed of choice. And I think that Leonardo is not like, he plays kind of the fool and the simpleton in some kind of places, but he's very smart and he's very good at like keeping the assassin's secrets. So I think they let him not be an assassin because they can trust in his confidence. And Ezio vouches for him a lot. There is a moment where one assassin thinks that he is a Borgia spy and sends other assassins after them. And Ezio intervenes and is basically just like, what are you doing? No, like, leave him alone.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I echo some of the same issues with being born into the assassins as you do. But it would be interesting to me if Ubisoft kind of like decided to show us areas in which like you can serve the assassins without being like an actual assassin, like whether it's an archivist or a researcher or administrative roles or whatever the case may be. I think we've seen a lot of Templars do that, but haven't really seen that as much with the assassins. I think we get a little bit of it in the modern day, but not necessarily in the historical time period. And so I feel like it would be a fresh take for us to see more of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I kind of would like compare it to, like, I know this is just because we recently watched The Sopranos and the mob thing is on my brain. But the difference between like someone who like does work for the Italian mob family versus like a made man. I feel like that's the difference we're talking about.
Yes, I completely agree with that.
If you don't have anything else, I'm ready to move on to our final little topic. So this was kind of one that was debated. In the games, it appears that Leonardo is a member of the LGBTQ community, particularly homosexual. It's hinted at several times. When speaking to Ezio in Rome, he mentions his work with the Mona Lisa, and Ezio warned him not to allow pretty girls to distract him from making the designs he needed. With his arm around him, Leonardo lightly assures Ezio that women would provide little distraction to his work. Additionally, there seems to be a relationship with his assistant in the Pythagorean Temple DLC. Ezio and Leonardo conversed briefly about him. Leonardo asked why he was where he was, but quickly clarified that he was only concerned about his assistant's careless spending. Ezio assured him that his assistant was safe at home, much to Leonardo's relief. Ezio then commented that the assistant fit Leonardo and that he approved, leaving the latter nervously speechless. And then lastly, after his death, rumors circulated that Leonardo died in King Francois's arms. Ezio disputed these rumors, stating some people, even kings, will do anything for publicity. And so the historical accuracy of his sexuality is questionable, but not totally disputable. His Wikipedia page states little is self-revealed about Leonardo's sexuality. He left hundreds of pages of writing. Very little of it is personal in nature. He left no letters, poetry, or diary that indicated any romantic interest. He never married, and it cannot be stated with certainty that he had a sexually intimate relationship with any person, male or female. I think this is another case of historians taking the point of like the absence of sexual relationships in his writing could not mean that he was just not talking about them because he was having sexual relationships with men. Their assumption is that, oh, he just wasn't sexual.
Yeah, but also I find this line of logic confusing because there is also the possibility that he burned a lot of letters or got rid of letters that indicated that he participated in this in any way. Because at this time, again, being LGBT is illegal. So it would be something of a secret. So to me, it's like, just because it's not there doesn't mean it didn't exist. But also at the same time, maybe he's asexual. Maybe he just wasn't interested in having a romantic partner. Maybe he just wanted to focus on his work and friendships. That's entirely possible too. I feel like it always has to be one or the other. There's no room for shades of gray in this kind of conversation, and that frustrates me. But also, I will say, I don't remember the conversation between Ezio and Leonardo about the Mona Lisa and like the whole that women will provide little distraction. Like, I do not remember that happening. I definitely remember the assistant. But yeah, so I guess I must have missed it or wasn't paying attention or something.
And I think I agree with you about like we need more room for gray kind of stuff in this conversation with sexuality and these historical figures. But I mean, there are several historical figures that we do think were LGBT, and there's no proof of that. And it's really hard to do that and prove that when you wouldn't want correspondence or any proof of that to be found because, like you said, it was illegal and in most cases punishable by death.
Right. And not even just like correspondence about your sexual activity, correspondence about anything that you wanted private. Like, that's not something you're going to want to be publicized, just in general. I mean, imagine if after your death, posthumously, somebody published our text messages. Like, it would be the equivalent. I don't want somebody doing that to me.
No. Basically, what She Cup is saying is delete your browser history.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Put it in your will. Have a designated person that will do that for you in case of your death. Just FYI.
Yes. In case of death, delete browser history. Anyway, any last thought or general thoughts about like why you love or hate Leonardo?
I love Leonardo. I think he is very endearing. I think that I think that Ezio probably would not have become an assassin without him. Because I think Ezio probably would have died without him, to be quite honest. He's a great friend and a person Ezio can count on when Ezio has almost no one else. When almost his whole family is gone, he still has Leonardo. And I think that that's really important. And I think we should definitely highlight the role that Leonardo plays in the Brotherhood, because it's a really important one, even though he's not technically an assassin.
I 100% agree. And I think I just want to echo everything that you just said there and share with you one of the introductory conversations about Leonardo that we get, which is between Ezio and Maria, where Maria says, you should meet Leonardo. You could learn a lot from him. He's a man of ambition. And Ezio responds with, I have ambition. And Maria responds with, besides vaginas.
Yes. I love that. I think I have that on the short list for mid-break sounds in the future. Yeah. So stay tuned.
Yeah. But that is like, and I think that Leonardo, especially when him not being an assassin, is a reminder to Ezio of what he actually is fighting for. Because Leonardo doesn't care about the Templar powers or anything like that. He just wants to build his inventions, do his painting, live his life in peace, and have the choice to do so. So I think for Ezio, Leonardo serves as a reminder of the people that he is fighting for. Leonardo might not be an everyday person, but still a reminder of that, of people who aren't knee deep in this assassin Templar conflict.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. I think that he does serve that role. He functions in that role, even if he isn't an everyday person. You're completely right on that front.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's all I have for Leonardo.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing the research and bringing these conversations to the podcast. It was a great episode, and I really enjoyed talking about Leonardo. And maybe we can go back and talk about more of these older characters too. But until then, thanks for listening to this episode of the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. You can find us on Twitter at AC Lorecast.
If you have any lore questions or topics to unpack, join our Cups Podcasting and More Discord server. It's the best place on the internet. You can also support us financially through our Patreon. Find us on patreon.com/Assassin's Creed Lorecast. The Assassin's Creed Lorecast is part of the Robots Radio Network. For more information about the Robots Radio Network, join the Discord server via the link in our episode's description.
If you enjoyed the show or learned something new today, please subscribe, leave us a review, and join the Patreon. And if you enjoyed our intro and outro music, make sure you give a big thank you to Pipeman Studios. Thank you, Pipeman. Thanks again for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. And always remember, Assassins, stay in the shadows to serve the light.
When a wasteland detective and a vault girl cross paths, no criminal is safe.
You're both under arrest.
Don't move a muscle if you know what's good for you.
Based in Bethesda's Fallout series, follow Walter and Bunny as they traverse the Texas Commonwealth and New Vegas, busting big crime rings.
We'll need all we can to expand into Vegas territory.
And surviving anything the wasteland can throw at them.
It's him! It's the Mothman!
Featuring a series of nail-biting narratives and guest stars from across the Fallout community. It's anybody's guess what thrilling case is up next.
War never changes, does it, Bunny?
No, it certainly does not.
True Vault Escapades, a Fallout audio drama. Available anywhere you get podcasts.